P5!
P5!
Welcome back to P5 again. Trying to make it consistent and short. So this is going to be the setup now. I'm trying to do it every week or so. And we're just going to talk about a movie. We're talking about some TV show that we've been liking. And then, the animal fact.
Absolutely.
Which your clue for this week is...
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as I'm here, you're getting an animal fact.
Yeah. And then also, check out DinoDoesIt. That's my other channel. I just do like random crap on there. I'm going to start streaming on there this week. Just like once a week or something. Put some clips in there. Working on block printing. And I'm going to do some 3D modeling and 3D printing.
Really
whole
cool
bunch of stuff. Just working on a whole bunch of random stuff. My projects, I'm just taking some videos of it and showing you guys what I'm working on, having some fun with it. Some taste testing stuff. Yep, that'll be a P5 thing. Actually, we'll have some taste testing coming out. But yeah,
you can do maybe a cooking stream or something.
Yes, so yeah, you'll be seeing a lot of random stuff over there. So if you want to see me do some other stuff,
the culmination of a bunch of ADHD.
Yeah, check out DinoDoesIt. And this week on P5, we're going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, and also what's the other show? What's the show? Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We're going to talk about Mr. and Mrs.
Jack and
Smith.
Jill.
Jack and Jill, which
Were
is
you
what
thinking
I've been.
Jack and Jill the whole time?
No, I couldn't. I just literally couldn't. I forgot what it was for a second because I was thinking of From.
Yeah.
The show we're talking about next week is From, but we'll get to that next week. But yeah, so we're going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog, and we're going to talk about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is on Prime Video.
Donald Glover's take on it.
Yes, it's like the same universe as the show, or sorry, the movie from like the 2000s.
I didn't really realize.
Yeah, apparently it's like based in the same proproperty, I guess.
We'll save that. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, but first we're going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. So this has friggin' Jim Carrey as Robotnik.
As himself, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I mean, he's a
got
little rude. He's rude in this, but he's his silly self.
Sanic, who it doesn't even say on the back of the DVD.
No, it doesn't, but it's
who Sanic is, but it's like the guy from he's from like Saturday Night Live. He's been on, and he's also
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz, there we go. He was in Parks and Rec. He was a funny, goofy dude on that. But I thought
it also has James Marsden.
Oh yes,
as
sorry.
The lead, or
yes.
Opposite Sonic there.
Yeah, I was going to mention him last, so...
Yeah, he's, just want to say, a piece of crap for... Or maybe we should say he's a piece of...
Yeah, he's a big old motherfucker.
Oh wait, we need to shut that window.
Gosh.
James Marsden, he's the lead with Sonic. I don't like him, and you don't like him either. I didn't want to speak for you.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
Was recently...
He's a doo-doo head. He's a
head. That's him.
Piece of garbage.
He wrote... he stood with Drake Bell's abuser. And if you'd seen the Quiet on Set documentary just released recently, or heard anything about it, Drake Bell himself did go on to abuse some people, so I'm not excusing that. But James Marsden, unfortunately, was one of the people who supported Drake Bell's abuser in court.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't like that.
Basically, pedophile guy did a whole bunch of pedophile shit and got charged for it.
And James Marsden said, but
yeah, and a bunch of other people in James Marsden wrote letters of character for this guy who did a bunch of fucked up shit. And
he didn't do that. He's my friend.
Yeah, and then he went on to get hired by Disney for a show or something.
Well, not only that, he went to jail, and then after was hired by Disney.
Yeah, so...
As a child, and his name's we could say his name's Brian Peck, right? Brian Peck.
I think so.
Either way, not related to Josh Peck, who was with Drake and Doug. It's so complicated, and but children were harmed, and that's not okay, and just because you didn't see it happen doesn't mean it doesn't.
Yeah, this guy supported it, and we just want to put a very long aside here that regardless of what we think about his performance in the movie and stuff, this guy's a f***o.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a middling performance anyway. It wasn't like anything I would say to like write He was just decent. It's alright. But
Plays
he's a piece of garbage. He's a
his title in here is Donut Lord.
Donut Lord.
He's a police officer. And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, back to Sonic. His voice is... Oh, God, I keep forgetting that mother. Ben Schwartz, yeah. So, Ben Schwartz, I thought... I just want to make one note, is that I thought he was a pretty good pick for Sonic's voice. I don't think he was perfect. I think some of his voice lines kind of just still sounded like Ben Schwartz, if you know him.
Sure.
Like, if you've known his stuff. So his delivery sounded like a little weird. But as a kid, like, you know, watching this new Sonic movie coming out, none of them would know who Ben Schwartz is.
No, it didn't take me out of it, and I
No.
don't know who he is, but I didn't really get too much of that. I thought they did a good job not casting Chris Pratt.
Yes.
I was thankful for
Automatic 6 out of 10 for not casting Chris Pratt. Yeah, there we go.
And I'll give him 2 more points on that. Well, maybe 1 more point, just for going back and fixing the eyes.
Oh yeah, true.
Thank God for the fan base.
He honestly looks pretty good in this.
Here's a before
I
and
want to
after.
like put out a little conspiracy theory.
Yes.
I kind of talked about it with someone, well, my coworker, in that I almost have this like sneaking suspicion that he always looked like this, and that they put out the version of it to like work up a bunch
That
of
could
like
be.
you know people just getting all. I just maybe think that the animators put out that little
Some good marketing.
I just think maybe it was just like a really good marketing ploy to get people all psyched up about it, because I think honestly if that whole bit hadn't come up, then it would have just been another like crappy property movie coming out
Sure.
that people would be like, yeah, this is probably going to be garbage, because every video game movie is garbage. Every because that's kind of classically what has happened. Every like movie or show that has come out for like an anime or a video game for a long time, it was just like, yeah, that's gonna suck.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of until this Sonic movie. It's like basically one of the first ones that came out where a bunch of people were like, wow, this is actually a really good video game movie. And then like Mario has come out and Last of Us has come out, and it almost makes me think that I mean, other than that, and then like Jim Carrey being in it, I feel like were the 2 big draws of the movie.
Yeah, and I really
You know?
appreciated that they had a picture of the meme Sanic. They had Sanic in there.
Oh, the messed up looking one?
Yeah,
he was actually
I think
in
so.
the movie. Oh, is that with the picture he?
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Sanic.
Yes, the drawing. We'll put it up on screen. It's like I forgot about that. It's like a drawing that looks like it was done in paint. Like MS Paint. The crazy guy who like thought he saw Sonic and no one
The
else
Blue
did at
Devil!
first. Yeah, he called him the Blue Devil in the movie.
He had drawn a picture
He had
of
drawn
him.
a picture of him that looked like the Sanic meme. Yeah, so that's a pretty
Perfect.
funny little callback. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the jokes, I will have to say, were basically just about him being fast.
Yeah.
Like a good majority of them. But you know, it's a kids movie and it's about Sonic, whose thing is being really fast.
And for kids.
Yeah, and it was the script was like a little bit cheesy at points, but not egregiously. And also, when you keep in mind that Sonic is like a big mascot for literally little children, I think it was really good. I'm thinking about if the movie came out when I was 8 years old or whatever, and I saw it, I'd be like, yeah, Sonic movie, like this is awesome.
Be excited for the next
Like
one.
I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I would have been pumped. You know, I would have been super pumped. Or I mean, kind of same thing with the Mario movie, to be honest. Like I would have been so pumped for that as a kid. I mean, I was still happy about it now, but as a kid, that would have been so cool.
Troublemaker.
But yeah, so any other notes?
It was not my favorite movie.
Yeah, I
It
can see that.
was Jim Carrey and Sonic.
Yeah, Jim Carrey and Sonic.
I'm just really grateful it wasn't Jim Carrey and Chris Pratt.
True.
That's all that I have my expectations set now.
I think Jim Carrey definitely did a decent job.
He did, and I will say, as much as I will make fun of, video game movies and like you're saying, the Mario movie did make me cry, but I think that was just the nostalgia, and I was just
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah, whereas this...
This I was not in it.
No. And I mean, I think there's definitely more budget and stuff behind the Mario movie too, I would assume.
It's good.
I mean, this was still good. I definitely like it.
It was a fun movie.
For video game movies, I would say the Mario movie was a lot better. I liked a lot of the little callbacks that they had, how they had his rings and stuff, and how they had him use like the spin dab a couple times. And
is his Owl Guardian canon? That was a little weird.
I'm not sure if that is or not, because there's a bunch of later games where there's a bunch of different creatures and stuff, and they're like Sonic's friends. I don't know if that owl guy has anything to do with it. In the beginning of the movie, his guardian, like parent, is like a big old wise owl lady, and she has to like basically chuck him through a ring portal and save his life.
From the coconuts from Moana. Not really, but they look like...
Yeah, they're like little
bad guys hunting him down.
Bad dudes hunting him.
Which I recognize them. They're in the game somewhere. Yeah?
Yes, I think so.
But yeah, the owl thing I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be.
I don't know much.
I've only really played like
Sonic.
the OG games, to be honest. Like I've played like Sonic and Tails, Sonic and Knuckles, and then I played some Sonic Mania, which is a little bit newer, but there's not really like lore or any other characters really in there. It's just old school Sonic again. I'm excited to see the second one eventually, because Idris Elba is Knuckles, and I really like Knuckles a lot. The storyline about like the little story bit about the conflict between Sonic and the main guy, cop guy McGee, about him like leaving town seems a little...
Oh yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it seems a little contrived.
I see what they were trying to go for.
But I understand, and also Sonic is supposed to be like rather childish, so I think they were just trying to make it.
I don't think they drew enough attention to the fact that Sonic was forced away from his homes and has to go planet to planet, and then Sonic is maybe angry at Cop McGee for like... His name's not Cop McGee. He calls him Donut Lord. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
just because he like eats donuts and
he eats a bunch of donuts, and it's a thing in the movie. But so Donut Lord there, they didn't draw enough attention to that fact that Sonic, it was forced from his home, and then how could he comprehend, leaving what Sonic with his first cave thinks is just like the perfect home.
Would be the best place, yeah.
But they didn't do that. It was just kind of out of nowhere. It
true.
felt like Sonic was like, "What? You're growing up and leaving home and getting a new job? No!
No, you can't. That's not allowed.
That's rude. How could you leave this
I just
town?
started talking to you like a couple hours ago." Yeah, so that seemed a little goofy, but it's also a kids movie. I can kind of see what they were trying to do. Also, they couldn't like really flesh out the problem and make it more
in an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, realized, because they weren't trying to really characterize Sonic that much, obviously, which I understand. It was fun though. It was a fun little movie. I give it probably like I don't know.
I think we got it up to 7 with that extra bonus point.
Yeah, maybe a 7, like a weak 7, I would say. A strong 6 if I'm feeling kind of like a dick. But yeah, and it was still fun for a video game movie too. Being a video game movie, I'm glad it did what it did, because I feel like it kind of paved the way a little bit for showing that, like, I don't know, for showing the industry at least partly that video game movies are worth it to make a little bit better, because people will go see them and they'll go appreciate them, and if you at least somewhat appreciate the canon material that you're basing it off of, then people will enjoy it.
Pay attention and they'll pay and they'll talk about it.
And then, I feel like Mario happened and Last of Us happened, and those, leaned into that even more, and they did a really good job, and I think...
The only one that seems to be suffering is Resident Evil. Or, like, sucking at doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I still like that other series we watched. It was still kind of fun, but it got ripped on really hard. I think I also just really like Lance Reddick a lot, the dad.
Me too.
And
R.I.P.
Yeah, rest in peace, Lance Reddick. You were a bad. Also, you're such a cool voice, and I am like such a massive fan of French.
Oh.
And yeah, he was in that show. That show is sick.
Also
love that show. All right. So what's your rating for? Just the same?
Yeah, 6, but I gave it an extra, I'll give it an extra half point for the Sanic inclusion, because I think you're right that it was probably a marketing ploy with the tiny little eyeballs being at the, We need to show a picture first of all.
Yeah,
His
the
tiny
bad
eyes
CG.
were given to test audiences or test screenings or at least a poster, and
It got a bunch of people worked up on the internet.
it was revolted against, and he looks like he does now.
Yeah, and then another thing, they were like, oh yeah, we'll fix that, and they fixed it and put out a whole
Really
new
fast.
movie in like less than a year or something like that, which is like, man, that seems
Pretty
like
difficult to.
that seems like a lot of work maybe to have done so quickly and fix without, I don't know, which is another reason why I kind of thought they did it as like a little bit of a bait and switch to like get people all outraged about it, but. Yeah, so like 6.5-ish. You know, if you're a fan of video games or Sonic, I would go watch it. Or you know, if you kind of like Jim Carrey, because he was pretty entertaining.
Really good,
He had some funny little bits. His part writing,
he had fun with it, but it wasn't that good.
Yeah, it wasn't written super good. Like a lot of his lines were just like, "I'm a smart scientist guy. I'm way smarter than you. I'll be smarter than you'll ever be. You stupid idiot. F you." But you know, like I don't know. He did a lot, really fun with the gags and stuff. And it seems like the bit at the end of this movie, they're gonna try to make him lean even more into the Robotnik like look and crazy scientist kind of thing going on that he has in the games. So yeah, it seems like they're gonna kind of gamify him even more for the second one. So we'll probably watch that and talk about it in a few episodes here. We just didn't feel like renting it right now because it was like $4, and we're watching this other stuff right now. If it was free to watch, we were just gonna watch it, but it wasn't, and we're cheap. So yeah, we'll come back to that soon. But yeah, 6.5, something like that. And now we're gonna talk about
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill,
Mr.
also
and
known
Mrs. Smith.
as Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
It was the Amazon Prime, was it?
Yes, it was on the Amazon Prime.
And break real fast.
Puppy girl, you just getting all beat up today, aren't you? Gimme, you want to come over here? Hey, buddy, you can come lay down on the couch with me if you want. Or you can just be real sus over there on the table, I guess, too. That works.
Mama, meow. Meow. This is how you call a cat. Oh,
Mama.
Mama kitty.
Oh, Mama. Please don't do that again, Mama.
Come here.
Jack and Jill. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. The real name if it's Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Just so you know. Sorry if I keep calling it that. I probably will a couple more times.
The Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, it's not the Adam Sandler movie. I just, for some reason, I got it in my brain that it was called that when we first started watching it, and then I've just been jokingly called that now. But yeah, so it's like based in the same like universe, I guess, as the one with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. But instead of them being like a married couple that are from two different spy companies, like the movie, and them finding out and then like them fighting each other and stuff, it's like two people that join a spy company, and they like apply, and the spy company like pairs them together as Mr. and Mrs. Smith couples, and they're basically spy couples that go do these operations that this company has them do. So they're posing as a married couple, and they're like legally married through the company for
they have all fake
spy
documents.
purposes.
They have all the spy bases covered.
But they're not married. And,
Jane and John Smith.
And Donald Glover is the one. Donald Glover was also like a director and producer, if I remember right, as well.
Maya Erskine?
Maya Erskine or Erskine.
I love her.
She did really good. They both did really good. It was definitely like, obviously it was like a spy movie, but I feel like it was definitely more of just like a big long allegory for like relationships and how people interact over time and ebb and flow and stuff like that. And it was really cool. It was really interesting, and their acting to me was very like natural. It felt like they were having normal, legit conversations.
I think it was on purpose too. Obviously, the point everything's on purpose, whatever. But I saw meaning in that it was an action show. There was spy stuff happening, all these explosions and stuff. But that wasn't the main focus of the episode. Like, people would probably classify it as a slow burn, but every episode would be a slow burn. But there's a lot of action too. but it's like purposely not focused on the explosions. It's on the relationship and on the mundane things and mundane.
Yeah.
And yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was really cute. Ending is up for interpretation.
Yeah, I was reading about
Me
it.
too. I'd like it to be a standalone thing.
I kind of would too, but
I would love to see their characters go on. It'd be awesome. No spoiler alert, I guess. I'm not gonna say something.
yeah, it's like one of those. If you know, well, everyone's seen the kind of movie before. It's one of those endings where you don't know at the end if they're dead or not.
Yeah.
We'll just say it like that. They kind of make it seem a little ambiguous in that they could be dead or they could not be dead, and whatever way you think about it, kind of, I don't know, can kind of change how you think about the whole story and how it kind of culminates and stuff like that, or where it could go from that point. Like I was saying before, it's mostly just about kind of their relationship and how they were sort of forced into it, kind of, with the whole spy agency. I think it's supposed to be like emulating an actual marriage or a relationship over like a really long period of time.
Yeah, each episode felt like a big milestone in a relationship.
Yeah,
for sure.
Even though it was kind of hard for me to tell.
Not necessarily each episode neatly packed into milestones, but per each thing there was some big event that may rock any relationship, not just two secret spies for the FBI, CIA unknown organization. It's really good. I recommend it, and I hope that we see them create more stuff together too. These two minds, Donald Glover and Maya Erskine.
Yeah, they did super good together. I don't know how much directorially she had to do with it, but if she did, I really hope she has something they do more again. I mean, even just their acting together was cool. It's like I was saying, it seemed very natural, and it was very quiet feeling sometimes, like just like two people just
existing
being together and existing together. Really cool. And it was obviously like sad in certain parts too.
Sure.
But
But it wasn't one of the, it wasn't a blood and gore, nastiness in your face like a lot of other shows are. And they had some blood, some things like that, but there was a lot of humor. It was balanced, very balanced, and didn't leave me feeling drained after I watched it, which some other shows do if it's either action-packed or trauma-heavy. Can leave you drained for either one of those reasons.
I've definitely praised both of them for their acting. A lot of like the shots and stuff were
artistically,
kind of
like visually.
I like the color tone to it too.
Me too.
It had kind of like a certain tone to it.
I like the music choices they had too. A lot of the songs they used were really good. Oh, we watch with subtitles on. I don't know if that's common with anyone who watches this, but I love watching the subtitles and seeing like the lyrics of the songs come up too. Sometimes.
Is it kind of
like to read into that? Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We just started watching From on Amazon Prime, and I was like, oh, I'm calling it right now that person is dying because of the song. Not just because of the song, but because of the lyric that came up right as the character was introduced, and I was like, you don't stand a chance.
You're dying, dude.
R.I.P. So, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'll give it a solid 9.
Yeah, I mean,
9, just because there's always room for improvement, but...
I think I would agree. I'd probably give it a 9 or... Yeah.
You're thinking 10 too?
Yeah, it was really good. I had like such great pacing. Made me really want to keep watching episode
more.
after episode.
That's what it is. I think I would give it a 10 if there were like more episodes, because it was something where I was like, man, I wish there was another season, but my heart knows that the storyline wrapped up for me.
Yeah. It was really popular, so I will understand if they do bring it back for another season, just like monetarily wise.
Yeah.
Like, how could you really pass that up? Unless, artistically Donald Glover would just be like, no,
the story is what it is.
This is what it is. which I could also understand. But
that's what my writer heart wants.
but I also like at this, but my human heart
I
though
know,
is like
my
I was
human
like
heart wants...
no, dude. I was like, and then like the next day I was like wait, I was like okay,
we went down the
I was
same
like,
Google
let's
rabbit
wait,
hole. It seems.
what if it was like this and like this and like this instead, and then it was fine. They were fine. It was okay. They're fine, right? It was okay, and they're okay, or they're okay, and they're cool.
They're fine.
and then they had not 5x2, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So if there were more episodes, just I wish for that. Maybe they could go back and film. They did a lot of time jumping, like a pretty good amount of time jumping.
Yeah, that's one thing I was gonna say. It was kind of hard for me to tell how long the actual timeline was, because obviously it wasn't as long as like
I think that was
a
on
full
purpose.
relationship and marriage.
Okay. Timeline was a little ambiguous on purpose, I think, but it was yeah.
So I mean, what did you think? Like, how long did you think it was? I figured it was like over maybe a couple years, or maybe not even quite. Like,
it gave me the impression of like 2-3 years tops.
Yeah.
And now that I'm thinking about it, it could be on purpose to go back and maybe during the season 2 show other points. I feel like this isn't really a spoiler. There's at one point they go to therapy. And I felt like as soon as they started seeing the therapist, things started going like quicker through the relationship.
Yeah, because they were kind of like recapping things to their therapist, and that made it seem like more time had passed. And
a big amount of conflict there, so they could go back and before the conflict, they could do something like that. I liked it. I liked the universe. They could also introduce another couple.
Yeah.
Sorry for kind of spoiling that.
Yeah,
It's up for interpretation though. I'm gonna stick by that.
I'll put something that says like spoilers, I guess.
Yeah. But either way, it's fine. It's good. Recommend.
Yeah, it's definitely recommended. 9/10. It was super good. It's really hard for me to think anything about it. It just like conveyed so much, I feel like, and kind of put a magnifying glass on like different aspects of just, being in a relationship with someone. I don't know, I really liked it. And then also just with the backdrop of a cool like spy mystery and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was waiting the whole time knowing about I've seen the Angelina Jolie movie, Brad Pitt, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, knowing that in the movie they, eventually start hunting each other down. I was just kind of on the edge of my seat waiting like, okay, when is it going to be a me versus you? Mm-hmm. When is this going to happen? How is this going to happen? And then when it does happen, which isn't a spoiler because
that's kind of the
obvious.
Yeah.
I was like, no, and it kept me right there the whole time.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's really hard to...
Watch it, and then we can talk about it more.
It's really hard for me to think of anything, like, bad about it. Yeah. Was there anybody's, like, acting that was... I don't know.
No, it felt very real. It felt, for as, like, crazy of a concept as it is, although it probably does exist, it felt very realistic. Because they were real people. Or at least characterized as real people.
Oh, also it was really cool, just side note, that Donald Glover's mom was in there.
Oh, yeah.
Playing his mom, like the character of his mom.
I love that.
It was really cute. And, so that... 10 out of 10. There we go. That, to me, there we go. That makes it. And also, I've always just been a big fan of Donald Glover. I loved the album Cul-de-sac that he did a long time ago.
Yeah,
what's
you're
his
a
rap
real
name again?
old fan. Childish Gambino.
Yeah, Childish Gambino. So yeah, and then Community. Donald Glover is fucking awesome, and this kind of like cements it to me. Like, he's
Hell yeah.
definitely like top tier, solid series. Go watch that. Cool like romance, drama, action thing. If you are in a relationship with someone, it makes you.
Oh, you watch
think
it
about
with them.
something.
For sure, watch it with them.
It's nice.
It's nice. The end.
The end. And one last thing. It's time for
Animal fact! Today's animal, if you haven't pinned it already,
I feel like we haven't said.
Oh, it's so iconic though.
As much this episode.
It's gonna be hard for you to censor tits when in the future I might talk about tit mouse.
Oh well, then I won't censor it when it gets to titmouse. That's fine.
Have fun censoring this.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyway, if you hadn't heard that iconic noise by now, probably recognize that it's a mourning dove. The sound of so many of our childhoods. Actually, it's just the sound of nostalgia, really. And I looked that up. Well, I didn't look that up, but I found it in researching mourning doves. That it's that's why it's called mourning dove. You know, it brings that feeling of nostalgia and also mourning. That's the sad part of that.
Yeah, I always thought it was morning as in like
Good morning.
morning and night.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize it was mourning as in like mourning someone's death until like a couple of years ago or
Yeah.
a few years ago. I feel like so. I am dumb.
No, you're not.
I feel like that's probably
it's always
a common
fun
misconception,
to learn more.
but
That call is generally if you hear that, it's probably a male calling out for a female. Yep. And our facts.
It's sexy time call.
Our facts today are supported by / you know, I'm looking on the Autobahn provided material, so you know it's legit.
Wait, what's the Autobahn exactly?
Hire me. Shout out. National Audubon Society. It's a cornerstone of environmental journalism through quarterly print issues and digital editorial. So this is the National Audubon Society's magazine, it looks like. But yeah, they're all about birds.
Just like Scientific Bird Society.
Yeah, I mean
Are they like German?
dedicated
or something?
to conservation of birds.
I feel like we've had this conversation before because I know of the Autobahn is like the German like highway, I think, that you can drive on at like any speed, you know, like there's no speed limit technically. I'm gonna have to look that up now because I feel like that's just something I've heard since I was a kid. Maybe there is actually a speed limit.
Yeah, here,
so
I
we'll
just
see.
Straight up Google again. I rely so much on Google, too much on Google. The National Audubon Society is an American nonprofit environmental organization dedicated to the conservation of birds and their habitats. Located in the U.S. and incorporated in 1905, it's one of the oldest of such organizations in the world.
Oh wow, that's cool.
It's pretty great. I love their work. They
been going for like 120 years.
The stuff they do with puffins in Maine, like
is that them who
really want to volunteer with them? That's one of my goals. So hopefully I'll be able to tell you all about that someday. One really cool thing that I learned: the whistling when they take off is their wings. It's not they're not making that noise. So like if a dog scares a mourning dove, you know, they're like. So I want to clarify first, pigeons and doves are like cousins, if you want to call them that.
They're in like the same family or genus or whatever.
I might say pigeon by accident, but I'm talking about mourning doves. Doves, pigeons, same thing. They're not the same, but I might slip. Yeah, so they make this whistling noise as they take off, and it's the flapping of their wings. And I thought that was.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, I feel like I've heard that noise before.
I figured it was their beaks.
Yeah. I just figured they were making like a little tweeting noise.
Please cover that noise that I made.
No, I won't. I'm gonna zoom in on it.
No! I thought it was like them tweeting you, like you said.
Yeah, no, I definitely did too. That's cool.
Yes.
Is that true for multiple other birds too? Then
probably.
Oh.
The opposite of that, if you consider like owls, how they silently fly.
Yeah, because they have like crazy aerodynamic wings and yeah.
Yeah, birds are pretty noisy if you think about it. Not owls, but some birds are pretty freaking noisy, especially this bird. I love mourning doves. One of the facts that they had on here, they have like a top 10. I guess this is a cheat sheet basically, but one of their facts was that they're known for building nests fast and flimsy, and I feel like that's an overall pigeon dove fact.
Were they the ones that just like?
Well, I was thinking
the
pigeons
videos you
first.
See where they just like drop a few random sticks and then they're just like,
yes.
Looks good to me. It's an egg on the ground.
Their courting system, or not courtship process, definitely does not rely on building structures like a bowerbird or something. It is nothing like that because their nests look like if my mom asked me to clean my room and then I like half-assed it. That's what they did. I'm thinking as a child I never cleaned my room very well. I just shoved it all in the closet. So that's maybe not the best.
Like whatever, let's get to the important part.
But yeah.
Poop that egg out. Poop that egg out. Come on,
Get the egg out. But their nests are quite flimsy. There's like 3, 4, maybe like more than that. But just a couple twigs or sticks laying there and then like, good enough, yeah, here it is. And then they pop out an egg. And then it only takes 2 weeks for them to hatch. And then they're good from there.
Oh.
Well, they're not good from there. They need to take care of them. They're actually one of the birds that does crop milk. So their crop in their throat. I told you about like chicken crops and like gizzards type stuff.
I know the gizzard kind of
it's like part of the.
It like kind of grinds up stuff, right?
Yeah. So
but what's a crop?
Their crop. So mourning doves. I don't know about pigeons. I'm assuming it's kind of the same thing. They fill up their crops really fast, so they peck all a bunch of food and get it all stored up, and it's like a little sack here. And then they'll go fly to a branch or somewhere safe, and they can see better. And then they'll sit there, kind of like a goat or another prey animal, and just digest it again. So then it goes. I'm assuming somewhere in the gullet. Like that. Here's a little diagram of mourning dove digestive system. And so the crop, the crop secretes a cottage cheese-like substance, and it's called crop milk.
You heard that, folks. The crop secretes cottage cheese crop milk.
Crop milk is pretty nasty, and there is a funny word for their babies. I just need to find it again. So the crop milk is given to these babies.
God, I hate the phrase crop milk. It's horrible.
Yeah, just the comparison of cottage cheese for it made me. These baby doves are also called squabs.
Cottage cheese crop milk for the
squabs.
Little squabs.
That'll do it for you.
It's because that's the sound they make. Squab, squab.
I don't think there's going to be an animal I discuss that I don't love, but these mourning doves, I had no idea they were so special to me until I stopped hearing them, or that it was pointed out to me that like they're part of my everyday environment, the ambience of my life, and of our lives here in the of Finger Lakes.
Yeah, like upstate. I don't know,
they're
like
widespread.
The
Here's
area.
a distribution map. Yes, they're very widespread.
Are they like all across the United?
The mourning dove is one of North America's most adaptable species, thriving in a wide range of habitats from coast to coast, preferring open areas like farmland, parks, backyards over dense forests. These doves can tough it out in harsh habitats like the Southwest desert, where their ability to drink brackish or slightly salty. Oh, that's interesting. So they can drink brackish or slightly salty water. Up to around half the salinity of seawater without getting dehydrated.
Jesus.
So,
that's crazy.
Another cool adaptation that I accidentally just read of. But yeah, the distribution map, as you can see here, they're very widespread.
There's some salty little birds.
Salty little cottage cheese.
Crop milking little birds.
Secretion.
Human secretion.
One more fact about them. Mourning doves, along with the rest of the pigeon and dove family, they are one of the only ones that can slurp up water without having to tip their head back and like scoop it. If you watch a chicken drink.
Oh yeah, they drink and then they have to. They go up and go.
Yeah, so pigeons and doves. Because you can
usually see them like kind of work their little throat muscles.
Pigeons and doves work their tongue, in here it's described as a piston. I don't want to take credit for this. Piston-like motion that slurps up the water very quickly. So I thought of it like a hummingbird, how fast their tongue moves. It might be the same
a dog kind of does that too, sort of.
Dogs do it.
They kind of like, but their tongue like folds under and scoops and pulls it in, kind of. Right?
Their tongue folds backwards and pulls up the water.
Oh, and then backwards.
They kind of slurp up the water and grasp at it. Mm-hmm. These guys actually create a straw through their beak, so they can just drink out of a puddle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's really cool, and I want to watch pigeons now. And with mourning doves, I want to observe them and see them drink because that sounds so cute.
Cool.
And that's your animal fact!
Yeah.
Sorry about the squabbling around. Squab!
See you little squabbler!
Fizzy does not hold still.
You want to say goodbye, Fizz? Oh, All right. All right, and we'll see you next time on P5.
P5!
Bye.